Peter Parker Intern 2 Bruce Banner by 107th Infantry. Chapter 31. A Surprise. Natasha led the group to a vent and helped everyone out. The security guard who saw them just rolled his eyes and said something into his earpiece. Peter looked at Nat to see her reaction, but she just waved hello to the guard and showed everyone to the exit. Peter fell back to talk to Shuri while they walked. It seemed like Okoye and Nat were actually enjoying chatting ahead of them. It sounded like they were debating the fastest way to kill someone. "So Shuri, how have you been?" Peter asked. The vents hadn't been conducive to talking, but he was very excited to see her. "Good. I'm so glad I got out of that tour. The guide was great, but he's not used to doing tours for the literal owner of the company." "Did he freak out when he saw Mr. Stark?" "Absolutely. Took him like 10 minutes to calm down. Then he realised who my brother was and freaked out all over again." "That's hilarious. I'll send some cookies down there or something. The poor dude. And then you popped out of the ceiling with the Black Widow and he almost died." "Maybe I should deliver those cookies myself then," Peter laughed. When they got within a block of the bookshop, Peter jogged ahead. He wanted to see his friends' faces when Shuri walked in. "Guys, close your eyes, I've got a surprise." MJ rolled her eyes before closing them. Ned covered his with his hands. "Open them." "Shuri!" It was a testament to MJ's friendship with Shuri that it took her several seconds to realise that Black Widow was also there. She gave a very uncharacteristic, nervous hello. While the girls were hugging, Peter showed Nat and Okoye to their usual table. Ned waved, and as soon as everyone was sitting with cups of tea in their hands. Then he popped out of the ceiling. Ned laughed while MJ gave him that "it's a wonder so few people know you're Spider-Man" look. "What? Natasha said she could take me to you through the vents, and it's not like I knew everyone else would be there." "You're an idiot." "I've never denied that." "So, Shuri, what have you been up to?" Ned finally chimed in. She always had cool stories. "I found a new way to start repairing the atmosphere. It requires vibranium and arc reactors, so my brother is here for negotiations. Hopefully it works out. What are you all up to?" "I'm almost done with my college courses, just 2 weeks until school starts up." "I'm going to miss this place," said MJ. "I'll work on weekends, but it will be nice to get back to school." "Nerd," said Peter. She punched him on the arm. They chatted about science and philosophy and new movies for a long while. Occasionally Natasha or Okoye would chime in with a comment on the inaccuracy of a movie stunt or an opinion on one of the subjects. They seemed to have a lot in common. Eventually, the door of the bookshop chimed as people entered. People never came in here. Peter looked up to see Tony, Bruce, T'Challa, and the group of well-armed women. "We figured we'd grab a drink before we sent T'Challa on his way. MJ, would you mind getting everyone some tea?" Bruce asked. She grinned. Yep, she was definitely keeping this place in business. Everyone sat in the small shop. It was pleasantly loud as they chatted. From the front windows, a strange scene was laid out before passers-by if they were to look in. A king sat with high schoolers and Bruce Banner, and while Tony Stark discussed quantum theory with a princess. Black Widow demonstrated a flip combo to the Wakandans in exchange for pointers on fighting superpowered individuals. When the time came to go, no one wanted to leave. Chapter 32. Stark Boy. Peter dropped off a bunch of cookies at the tour office, which was now affectionately calling him colonizer, before he went up to check in with the intern office. He'd have to thank Shuri for that one later. On the way up, he was in the elevator with a few computer programmers. "The system is fried. I can't program on something that I can't process what I'm inputting." "Just ask Chemboy." "You mean the kid from engineering?" "I'm pretty sure he's in the etymology department with Liz. Regardless, he can solve it." The suited men looked at him. Peter smiled. "The robotics lab is getting rid of their CAD systems for new ones. You could hook them up together and make a low-level supercomputer." "See? I told you." The elevator stopped. Tony Stark stepped onto it. Hey Pete, Pepper took your suggestion about personal assistants to heart. They all got the day off. Mind bringing lunch up to us? You're ridiculous. Yes, but only because Dr. B is going out to lunch with Mr. Harrington and my friends are working. What are you even doing on a public elevator? Cornering you. Bye. Tony stepped out onto one of the upper floors, and Peter realised he had overridden the elevator. They had to go all the way back down to get to their floors. As Peter stepped out onto his floor, he heard the computer guys whisper behind him. Stark Boy, they agreed, was a better name. Morning, Mrs. Andrews. Morning, Liz. Morning, Kyle. Everyone waved as he walked by. He would miss this during the school year, but at least he could come back outside of the internship programme. He took the elevator back down to Lab B and started working on a project. Bruce was up and working on something too. Peter, how many work days until you go back to school? Dr. B called out from across the lab. 8. Okay, anything you want to do before then? Peter thought for a second. Make a set of cool knives for Natasha. I figured it's so nice of her to train me that I should make her something cool. Your wish is my command. What metal do you want? I'll just go with titanium. I'm going to etch some designs on to add some flair. By the way, I'm going to bring Tony and Pepper some lunch while you're out. Okay, ask for any special equipment you need while you're up there. Peter started coding. He had a pet project. After months of actual work, this was just going to be fun. By the time lunch came, he designed 4 knives of varying sizes and a leather holster for them. He practically had to tear himself away from the computer. He headed up to the dining floor thinking about what other cool stuff he could make before he left. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing, as it really helps me out and it means that you don't miss any future chapters from this fic. Have a lovely day.